Clarence Thomas, Herman Cain, J.C. Watts, Michael Steele, Thomas Sowell. These are some of the most prominent members of a very exclusive club, black conservatives. And also among their ranks is Jeff Charles of LibertyNation.com, who wrote about the phenomenon this week in a piece entitled, Why Black Conservatives Confuse Liberals, a most amusing title. And Jeff joins us now. Jeff, welcome. And the Gospels refer to the unpardonable sin, and people debate what exactly that might be. But as I've often said, the effective worldly equivalent of the unpardonable sin is being a black conservative. Is it as ostracizing as it appears to us white people?
Yes, it is the unpardonable sin. It is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit of leftism. So basically, it is pretty ostracizing. There is a lot of vitriol that we get for not falling in line with the left's way of thinking. But it's not the same as any member of one of the left's other minority groups. So, but the thing is, these are the groups that Democrats use to get elected. So, I mean, if you're black or Hispanic or LGBTQ and you decide that you don't want to toe the Democrat line, they're not very happy about that, and they will resort to personal attacks. But in other cases, it's not an issue of animus. In other cases, it's an issue of honest confusion.
Okay, let me read directly from your article, again, using the title because I like it so much. Why Black Conservatives Confuse Liberals. From your article, Kimberly Johnson, a contributor to the Huffington Post and the spokeswoman for an advocacy group called We Are Woman, posted a tweet as follows. Out on the road the other day, I saw an affluent black man driving a BMW with two bumper stickers, she wrote. One was pro-NRA, and the other one was a Tea Party sticker that read, Don't tread on me. This left me very confused, unquote. Do you think this woman realized just how ignorant it is to say you're confused by someone who uses a couple of bumper stickers that don't toe the party line?
You know, I don't think that she realized it at all. So the thing is that her confusion is based on a stereotype. Now, it is in part based on a stereotype of black people, but it's more due to a stereotype about the conservative movement. It's a widespread belief among people on the left that the conservative movement is full of racists who hate black people. So in their mind, the black person going with them would be like a black person voting for a Ku Klux Klan member for president. They actually think that that's what we're voting for. So in their mind, it would cause confusion, but the confusion is based on ignorance because of how the GOP has been labeled.
So you're saying it's more about ignorance of the conservative movement than it is about black people themselves, which is an interesting take or an interesting angle that I hadn't really heard before. But let me go on to another thing from your article where Ms. Johnson went on to say that the source of her confusion is the notion that, quote, the Tea Party does not act in the best interests of anyone other than white, rich men. And, of course, she was referring to that Don't Tread on Me bumper sticker she saw on the back of a black BMW with a black man driving. Having been to Tea Party events, Jeff, when I was running for the U.S. Senate, I can tell you that nothing can be further from the truth. The Tea Party, those events, are grassroots rank and file, ordinary voters. Is this, on Ms. Johnson's part, wanton ignorance or just plain ignorance?
You know, it's always easy to say that it's wanton ignorance, but I'm going to go with plain ignorance on this one, because you're right. The Tea Party, those events had plenty of black people at those events. You just didn't see it because the media made sure that you didn't see the black people that attended these events. So it is plain ignorance. But here's the thing. Lower taxes, less regulation, better economy, lower unemployment, that helps everybody, including black people. So in the vein of that thinking, it shouldn't be any surprise that a black person would have a sticker saying, "Don't tread on me," and would support the Tea Party. But again, it's ignorance based on the stereotype of the conservative movement. So I don't think that she's being intentionally ignorant here, but I've run into this a lot. So they have a misconception of the Republican Party as, again, just being full of racists. So they think that when a black person joins that organization, that we're going against our interests, when in fact we are going right with our interests.
We continue with Jeff Charles of LibertyNation.com. And Jeff, let me take this from another angle. The Democrats have been pushing for ever-expanding gun control laws for as long as anyone can remember. And over 90% of blacks vote for Democrats for president. And yet the people most damaged by gun control laws are black people living in marginal or dangerous neighborhoods who need guns to protect themselves, to even be able to leave their homes in many instances. While the white elitists who push gun control live in comfort, mostly protected from the unwashed masses they purport to represent. So, is gun control pushed by limousine liberals not actually, in the end, racist?
Yes, the result is racist. That may not be the intention, but it does end up hurting black people more than helping us. And I'm not surprised. The reason the original gun laws were passed were to keep guns out of the hands of blacks who had been recently freed from slavery.
Good point.
Oh, yeah. And moreover, blacks in America, they don't have a problem with the Second Amendment. While some of them may favor some gun controls, you're not going to meet a whole lot of black people that favor widespread gun confiscation. Last year in Chicago, black people were buying guns at record rates. So black people understand the need to be able to defend themselves and have the right to carry a weapon that can help them defend themselves.
Now, Jeff, do you believe in this notion of a black Democrat reservation, as it's been fashionable to say these days, in light of Kanye West and Wynton Marsalis having the audacity to say they can actually think for themselves, and Kanye saying he's a fan of President Trump?
Yeah, and I understand it. I mean, I know the term Democratic plantation is popular right now. I'm not really a fan of the term, but I understand where it comes from. The reality is that, like you said, 90% of black Americans vote Democrat, and I'm going to tell you why that is. The reason, really the main and probably only reason why black people vote for Democrats is because they have been convinced that the Republicans are all racist. As a matter of fact, Michael Eric Dyson publicly said, and he's a far left black activist, and he has said that black people would vote for conservatives if they weren't so racist. Now, conservatives are not racist, but he even admitted that in general, blacks have a lot of values in common with conservatism. So once we break through that false notion that the majority of conservatives are racist, we're already seeing this happen through alternative media. More black people are going to, at the very least, they're going to leave the Democratic Party. It's already happening with the #WalkAway movement.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate your contribution to LibertyNation.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff Charles, LibertyNation.com.